Okay, Commissioners, we're going to jump ahead to item number 4. It's an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan. It's 920 Broadway, aka 912-920 Broadway, located within the Ladies Mile Historic District. It's docket number 165207, block 849, lot 63, a neo-Renaissance style store and loft building designed by Schwartz and Gross and built in 1917. The application is to install new storefront infill, signage, and banner poles. This was read into the record on January 20th, 2015. It's being presented today for the first time.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tara Harrison, Preservation Staff. 920 Broadway is located at the corner of 21st Street in the Ladies Mile Historic District. This application is to install illuminated signage in the central bay on the Broadway facade. The proposed storefront infill, some other window signage, and bracket signs will be issued under a staff level permit. Mary Dierix is here to present.
Thank you, Tara. Good morning, Mary Dierix, Preservation Consultant for the project. This originally came in as a proposal with banners, with signage at the cane glass transom, and some other signage, and we worked with staff to get everything down to staff level permit. The transoms are being saved, the signage is moving down, no banners. So now what we're left with, this is a big building from the early 20th century, and what we're left with is the sign at the transom that's halo lit. So you might, what we're finding here is, and that's the sign. Keith Lomonico from Sargenti Architects is here to answer questions if you have any. The little LED lights around the letters. These are all lit signs on Broadway in about a 5-block area. So there are lighted signs on Broadway, including a movie theater. And halo lit signs have been approved in the Ladies Mile District on 6th Avenue and 5th Avenue in what I found at least 6 other cases, and there are probably more. So,
and these are in the historic district, the ones that you're showing us?
Yes. These are in the Ladies Mile Historic District,
Okay.
and others were approved in the Ladies Mile Historic District. So this is our proposal, which for Commissioner Washington is a halo lit sign on the at the entrance to 920 Broadway.
Can we just be sure we know what we mean when we say halo?
Yes. These are the industry terms. I also find I know way too much about replacement windows these days. But Keith, if you want to come up, halo lit is the little LED lights around the letters. It's not an internally illuminated sign.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, could you point out the illustration that you consider is closest to showing what the lighting would look like in your
I
example?
wish, I'm sorry.
Is the geog sign the one that is this?
The one that is a halo lit sign, oddly, is this one, the tiny one, which is Restoration Hardware. The rest of these are lit with other exterior fixtures, but I'm sorry, there are halo lit signs elsewhere in the district.
I just wanted to get a sense of...
It's going to look kind of glowing.
Only larger, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you could show the section and just explain in detail of how the light is sourced.
So none of the
It's Keith Lomonico.
yes, Sargenti Architects. So none of the light emits from the front. It's just the glow on the outside. So it's a white face, and you'll see
the
the
fixture is behind.
right. Exactly.
Okay.
So it shines on the black backing.
There's a space then between the light fixture
Correct.
and
Yeah, we're showing an inch.
the wall and
The standoff of the letter from the backing of the sign's an inch.
And A100 illustrates the other signage that you will have. You're not having the banner and the other things. So this and the window signs, that's what it'll look like.
Yes, all these are window films. The only main sign is above the door. And the sign itself is set in from the glazing, so the transom is still transparent. The sign is set in, so you see the glass behind the sign.
Can you just, but this entire thing is black, as shown here.
Correct.
So does that cover the entire transom?
It's set in 3 inches from the edge of the window frame. So you get a 3-inch clear glazing behind the sign.
Right, but you can't see, right? Because the sign is blocking it.
Well, you'll see the sign is set
You'll see 3
inset
inches.
from, yeah, you'll see 3 inches of glass on all 4 sides.
I see, okay, all right. Other questions? All right, we'll take testimony. Barbara Zay?
Good morning, Commissioners. Barbara Zay of the Historic Districts Council. HDC generally finds the proposed signage to be appropriate, though pin lettering would be far less obtrusive than the large square sign over the entrance. Our committee also found the bracket sign right next to the entrance to be redundant, given the sign above the door. We also asked that all options be considered in order to avoid covering any of the extant leaded glass. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more speakers on this item? All right, Community Board 5 submitted their recommendation, which is to approve the application for new signage.
Just that we're
Yes.
not covering that was an earlier proposal, the leaded glass is not being covered.
Okay, Roberta?
So the glass that is being covered, though, is the transom.
Right, but it's not a historic
The
transom.
previous tenant had doors on either side, so those are being replaced to be 2 bays of glazing to more match what's in the building itself.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, comments?
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Yes.
I'm just looking at the bay, the existing, seems to show the same transom as the 2 to the left, or is that?
And these are historic transoms.
Right.
The others are not historic transoms, nor are they historic.
Up on that, it looks the same.
Those are clear glass transoms in the third and
Sorry.
Third and fourth bay are clear.
Okay, thank you. I see it.
All right, comments? I think generally the location of the sign within the transom is very consistent with what we've seen elsewhere. I guess it could be a little smaller, but I think given that this building is fairly large in terms of its frontage, I think the size is okay.
I think smaller would be better. We've already got, with the accumulation of signs on this facade, we've got 8 signs. Got a blade, the other smaller ones in the windows. I would prefer to see it a smaller.
Okay. I think that seems fine. We can ask this to work with staff to just make the sign smaller. Does that make everyone okay?
I think it doesn't stop it.
Okay, any concerns? All right, so we can close the hearing and we'll move to decision. John, do you want to read that?
In the matter of docket number 165207, 920 Broadway, also known as 912 to 920 Broadway in the Ladies Mile Historic District, the application is to install new storefront infill signage and banner poles. I recommend approval, finding that the proposed location of the signage in the storefront transom is in keeping with the locations of signage for buildings without sign bans, and that the presence of illuminated signage on this stretch of Broadway has precedent at other storefronts in the streetscape in this historic district. But we do I also find that the size of the proposed sign panel covering the entire transom and center mullion is too large, and so ask that they work with staff to reduce the size of the sign panel.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This application's been approved.